Right. Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, we're going to get into this. It's a specific message. You guys know I usually always do these ones live. I'm just not doing this one live right now, only because I have got a splitting headache. It's been hours, and I still wanted to go ahead and do a video, but I just thought I'll probably keep this one a little bit quick. And I'm a little bit distracted because of the headache, but it's crazy because I wasn't going to do one at all. I just suddenly decided because in my head I had this image of somebody who was super distracted themselves, but with just worries and things on their mind. And they were like misplacing car keys, misplacing beverages. Now, that is not me. I just happen to have a headache. But I feel like keeping it like low key tonight. And so I don't know. We'll see what happens in this. We have a King of Pentacles. We could have a Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus masculine. And, to be a king, it's going to take he's got a lot on his plate for sure. If he has a lot going on, it looks like one of the heaviest thoughts on his mind is an apology. This could be a divine masculine who really would like to, they're feeling only 5 years old on the inside, even if they're all grown up. This is somebody who wants to bring somebody a rose. This looks like, oof, I can see why they would be really distracted right now. By the way, he may have green eyes or a green vehicle, or maybe he's wearing green right now. He could be older. He's got like a graying beard or something. He could be at least in his 40s. I feel like he's either sitting outside or pacing around. If he has a patio, he might be right outside on his patio or balcony or something. And he's thinking, but he's not really where he's at is not where he is at in his mind, right? Even here, we see he's, by the way, I should show this now. We have a Queen of Pentacles on his mind. Talk about on the balcony. She might be on a balcony right now also sitting, this feels like, a wrought iron balcony, something like that, where she's sitting outside. This could literally be somebody like sitting on the fire escape, just in a big city, because this is where she goes to think calmly and clearly. But it's crazy because I feel as if right now we may have a matched pair. This could be a husband and wife. Doesn't have to be. It could be any gender, but or any arrangement of genders. Could be same sex. But for right now, we're going to say him and her because that's what we've got. But in his mind, he's trying to picture, how do I say sorry? How do I say this to her? And I feel like he's pacing around, trying to figure out. Look, I don't know if these two are actually married and have had some kind of an argument, and he's like, I got to say sorry, or if this is a situation where it's just he sees her as his match, she sees him as her match. She definitely is sitting on the other side of the fence, and she definitely is. It feels to me like she's waiting for an action on his part. Like, I'm not the one who needs to reach out. It does have to be him. Because she sits here with her pentacle. I think she would very easily give her either like forgiveness or give her warmth or give her connection to him again and be like, yes, of course I want to talk to you. But as she may have a lot of house plants, by the way. Particularly, we've got a rose bush blooming. She may have planted ranunculus in the springtime. We've got some kind of red geranium here as well, and several different house plants behind her. So I feel like, the Queen of Pentacles is oftentimes associated with, all things green and growing, because she's about nurturing, she's about money. She could also have a multitude of businesses that she runs. She could have, a side hustle and then something else that she does. And she could be juggling an awful lot. But for him right now, his primary focus is the thing that he's lost in his mind, thinking about, how do I say sorry? What's the best route to take? He feels like he's on very unstable ground because we're standing on the seashore, right? And there's a castle in the sand. So this is kind of tough for him to know what he's supposed to do. We have the Sun card upright. He does know one thing. She makes me happy. Unless I'm reading this wrong, maybe it's not about somebody who needs to give an apology. Maybe this is like, I met somebody that I'm nuts about. I can't wait to talk to her. How do I approach her? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to talk to her again. It could be that. He could be like all happy, jittery. but it's either the sun can be about clarity or the sun can be about pure joy. So we could still have either of those two stories. Wow, we have the Hierophant. This is very serious. I mean, we know it's serious because we have a matched King and Queen of Pentacles, but we also know it's really serious because that Hierophant is like this powerful belief system. Taurus energy, by the way, and Leo previous to that, if I didn't mention that on the Sun card. But with this Taurus energy of the Hierophant, I like, if he's not married to her, he knows he wants to be. If this is like he knows exactly what action he needs to take, wants to take, I feel like we're starting to see a story where it's like he might be distracted because he's nuts about her. And I literally felt like, because I was seeing somebody who couldn't find their car keys, somebody who set down, like I saw a coffee mug in my own mind, and then they walked away, and then they didn't know where the heck their coffee mug was, and they're looking for it. I just feel like he's so distracted right now because his mind is clearly, locked in, dialed in, and focused on this. Two of Swords in the reverse. Look, he's so certain about what he needs to do, who's important, what's important right now, which happens to be the Queen of Pentacles for him, and this connection, that he doesn't really have space for any doubt. He doesn't have space for anything else that makes him like wonder what to do. He comes across as very serious. He may be deeply religious or spiritual. He may be someone who has gone to a recent confessional. This kind of looks like a Catholic bishop. So maybe he's, spoken to, whatever his spiritual advisor is, or maybe this is just a more of a his ability to tap into his own higher self, and that's what he has done. The Hierophant doesn't have to have anything to do with like organized or structured religion, but rather our own personal convictions and belief systems. But this is, everything is symbolism, at least in my mind, in these stories. So we could take that in a lot of different directions. But just as a side note, yes, he could have a particular faith or been raised in a particular faith, or maybe he's like, oh, I'm hearing that song by Labyrinth, I'm in my feels. It's something about like I got touched by God. uh, and he's singing about love, and he's singing about how love can, whoo, man, does it throw you for a loop? It messes you up pretty good. But the chorus is, I'm in my feels, way up in the clouds somewhere now, don't know what's real. And I think that that's what the storyline is. We have somebody who's completely, our masculine is very much in his emotions and trying to stay grounded, but the only thing that's grounded is his physical body. Everything else in his mind is in his emotions, but he's very clear how important this connection is to him. He's very clear about the person that he loves. He's very, very straightforward about all of this. Ace of Cups. He may be saying, are you kidding me? I want children with her. I want everything with her. I want to build a business with her. I already know she's the love of my life. Okay, let me ask this. Did you just meet her, or is this somebody that you already know and now you're just realizing this? Are you in conflict with her? Have you not talked to her in a while? Like, what is your situation with her? Because I don't see that here. We can only see his perspective right now, and him kind of losing his mind because he's so up in his head about all this right now. King of Wands, he just keeps saying, I'm in love with her. I'm in love with her. Okay, I get that, but what is your interaction with her so far? Like, is she already your person? Did you have conflict? I don't know. This says he's gone through a massive transformation with this Death card. Now, certainly, this is, if we look at this card, it's so beautiful. By the way, this is a deck by Street Priestess. I always love her art so much. She's on Etsy, and I buy a couple decks of hers every year. I want them all. This is some of my favorite artwork. But this is, you see this woman who's like looking into this tide pool, and there's another version of her that is like emerging from the tide pool. This is like, to me, this is saying he's kind of been reborn again. There's some element of him that has, I'm thinking he has known her for some time, and something has shifted inside of him, and it's like, oh my God, she's the love of my life. I feel so different. Everything about me is different. How can I not see her as this amazing person that she actually is, and that she's so right for me? This is the love of my life. I feel like the light bulb has gone on in his mind. Unfortunately, we do have a 3 of Swords. I'm thinking he did not see her that way once upon a time. I'm thinking this is new for him because there's a change in him. So at some point, by the way, she could have some very specific tattoos, or maybe she has some henna tattoos or some temporary like stick-on tattoos. We have like gold embossed here on her forearms. She could be wearing some gold rings, gold jewelries in general, but I almost feel like the way she like adorns herself is like particularly like she has a really unique flair to how she dresses and the different things that she adds on to her dress, or her, I wanted to say costume, so maybe I should go with that word. Maybe she's a performer of sorts. We have a 7 of Cups. He's like, I don't understand how I didn't see this before. What in the world? How was I not sure about her before? How could I ever, what goggles was I looking through? Why was I ever looking for somebody else when I met her? Oh my God, I wasn't sure about her when she's the most wonderful thing I've ever met. Hang on. There's a part of me that's not buying this. I mean, yes, we can see that he's, oh my God, so awakened, but I'm not buying the fact that he was that unsure at one point and could have caused her quite a bit of grief because he was just inconsistent, or he looked at her as an option, not a choice. I want to know, what is it? What's that death card? What happened to you that changed you oh so much that I'm supposed to buy into the fact that you're such a different person now and you see everything so differently? Knight of Swords, that's just impulsive, swift action. Maybe something really rocked his world suddenly out of the blue. Queen of Swords, we do have an element of like, I don't know if he had like a near death experience or something. This feels not like, I'm not reading this like, oh, he met some Queen of Swords who gave him some straight talk. I don't see it like that. She's too mysterious. I don't even feel like she's a person. I feel like she's a force of nature. I feel like he had a truth like land in his lap suddenly. That's why I'm like, this could have been, a near miss. This could have been one of those things that like, whoa, you snap awake and you go, what the hell have I been doing? Living my life like I'm indecisive or I don't know. My life is full of truths and they're right there in front of my eyes. Sometimes it takes like a really positive experience, or, kind of a scary experience, or some brush with something that, gets us really aware of truth. And so it could have been anything, but it does seem like it came in unexpected and kind of hit him like a Mack truck, kind of hit him like all of a sudden there was this truth staring right at him. But I definitely feel like with this, I do not look at this as a person. I would not normally look at a Queen of Swords and ever say, oh, I don't think this was a person. I think it was a force, an experience, a force of nature, a life-altering moment. But I mean, this could be a life-altering moment, and one of his guides or ancestor like was facilitating this and letting him get to the point of like real truth. But definitely this feels like an epiphany, a spiritual awakening moment, and now it's like so crystal clear. King of Swords, very, very, very crystal clear. He ended up like, maybe it was a very like highly visual dream or something as well. His eyes are really particularly glorious. They're like these golden glowing eyes. I don't know, it feels like he had some tremendous spiritual experience. Something that was significant enough to shake him into reality and make him realize what was important to him. At least as this story goes, if he just wasn't sure about anything, he may never have asked her out. Although it does say that there's that 3 of Swords, so I don't know. I don't know if he like just didn't give her much attention, or if, were you dating her before and didn't pay her much attention or treated her like an option? What was the situation back then? 5 of Wands. I don't know. I don't know that he ever like, if anything, with the 5 of Wands, he had other people on his mind. I have no idea if he actually dealt with her. This is like 2 women sparring. I don't know if if it was like a weird situation where, you know, it was like in his mind. He's like, her or somebody else. Oh gosh, I don't really know. I feel like this was so insignificant as far as like he should have been treated as somebody insignificant in the queen's life because he wasn't sure about what he was doing. Fives and sevens are numbers of change, but he was confused, and this is somebody, you know, working through analyzing and over analyzing things. But if he caused her some kind of grief, or he believes he caused her grief because of his very like non-committal and like, oh, I don't know what I want, that kind of energy that he was giving off, I will say, I mean, all of this is hitting him, right? We've only seen his side of this the entire time. This is his epiphany. This is his story. And now that he's flooded with this overwhelming knowledge of, I've met the person that I would want to marry. And how could I have ever been unsure about that? How was it that I didn't know the gold that I had in my hands until I went through this massive overhaul of myself? I was the problem. I was the person who couldn't see what I had right there in front of me. We'll ask just very briefly, is there anything else on the Queen of Pentacles side? Because she's kind of like furniture in this storyline right now because it's all about him and about what he's recognizing. Nine of Pentacles sideways. On one hand, he knows that she's amazing. She also knows that she's amazing. Single, abundant, I mean, very Queen of Pentacles-esque, right? She's got it going on. Five of Pentacles. I do think that she's single. And I do think that she would like to have some kind of companionship, or she used to want that. Now, I don't know. We got that liberation card. She may have recently come to the conclusion that, yeah, I honestly, there's so many things I'm going to be doing with my life right now. That Judgment card, she could be making peace with some, you know, like, hey, I'm really good on my own. I don't really think I'm missing out on anything. Action of Cups. She could be about to meet somebody new also. She's certainly made peace with this and freed herself from it, from what I can tell. At one point, she did feel really sad over this, but it looks like she's moved on. Guess what? She's now the one who's like, God, there's so many hotties out there. There's so many fish in the sea. I don't really know who I want. I can't wait to figure out like who I'll date. I think she's just emerging on the dating scene. Nurturer of Cups is actually the Queen of Cups again, or excuse me, Nurturer of Coins. This is the Queen of Pentacles again, but with a masculine on it. I think she is so ready to meet the love of her life. But at this point, she's the one who's like, oh, there's so many great people out there. Okay, who I'm looking for is going to be somebody who really matches me, really compliment me. I actually want somebody that's a lot of the way I operate so that we can really merge nicely. Look, he may have a very difficult time trying to win her back, because I see that she's just recently gotten over him and she's very much ready for somebody who's a great match for her. But I don't know how easy this is going to be for him. No wonder she's on the other side of that little patio. But she's kind of really peaceful. She's not the one pacing around. She's peaceful, calm, and just thinking about, you know what? I'm kind of excited. There's a lot of great people to meet. I'm excited about dating. I wonder who I'll end up with. I know what I'm looking for. Look, he seems to be on the verge of trying to like get her to marry him, but I just don't know how easy it's going to be for him to get her back. This could be quite the road ahead for him, because he's had this epiphany, but so too has she, which is that she's looking for somebody else. So I don't know. Good luck to him though. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye.